What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Kage here, and I'm back with another one. So today I'm going to be doing my tier list for ninja tribes. Now I'm not gonna lie, this tier list is definitely going to be way different, probably a month down the line, than when I do my next tier list in probably late April, early March. Just mostly because the game is just so fresh, and there's just some units I just haven't had to test. Like I've tested out a decent amount of these units, just about probably 60% of them, but some of these units I don't have access to. But you guys can take how you feel about that as far as overall. But I've been doing tier lists a long time, and I think I have a good idea of how some of these units should be ranked up. I'm just gonna give my opinions on like why I decided to set up some of these units and why I put them in certain tiers. Now here we have the highest tier, Kage tier. Now I left adult Sasuke in there. That doesn't mean that he's the number one unit just because I put him as like the number one like unit in like Kage tier. I just kind of put him in a random order, to be honest. But all around, from what I've seen when I'm going up against adult Sasuke, his biggest asset I think probably to him is this AoE special ninjutsu. It does a lot of damage for AoE special ninjutsu compared to all the other AoE special ninjutsus that we've seen in the game. I think that's probably his biggest appeal to him personally from when I've gone up against him, because honestly I don't have him, so you can feel how you feel about that. But I've gone up against him a good amount of times to get the just of. I think that's probably the best aspect about him. He does share a trial special with Sadara, which is also pretty powerful as well. I have been clapped by that almost one or two times, but no, nothing too crazy. So all around, I think adult Sasuke is worthy of being in Kage tier. All the URs, I'm not gonna lie, to be honest, all the URs are honestly just about on the same level as like overall utility of what they provide for their teams, because URs are just like the stats are just higher, their abilities are just crazy. Like it's just overall, I don't think none of the URs are like below Kage tier or Z tier or whatever you want to call it, the highest tier for your tier list or whatever. So there's that. So Kakashi is just around the same thing. He's just a super crazy hard hitter. I see a lot of people use Kakashi and they level up his speed because I guess his base speed stat is really high. All around, the best thing for him I think is probably the fact that he has access to paralyze. Is probably one of the best status effects that you can afflict on an enemy. It doesn't really have the craziest highest chance, but it is a decent chance that you can get it off of, especially ninjutsu. When you do, paralyze can completely just kind of throw off a team and really just slow a team down, especially in ninja arena. So there's that. So here we have Hokage Naruto. Now Hokage Naruto, without a doubt, he's really versatile, and more the fact that he can kind of play the role of a semi hard hitting attacker, because I know especially in ninjutsu it's kind of very similar. Like his kid is very similar to the SR Hokage Naruto, to be honest. I know especially ninjutsu does extra damage to attack type units, and he already has type advantage over attack type units, so he is able to hit really hard with that. He also have with his fourth skill, if I can remember it, with it buffs damage reduction. I like remember this stuff off of the top of my head. That's how much I like to indulge myself to the game to him. I remember this stuff off the top of my head. But all around, what he provides for the team is just being a really heavy tank, and also actually able to dish out some pretty crazy solid damage to attack type units. So all around, he's really good. I don't think there's any debate that he's in Kage tier for anybody. He's really all around pretty solid. Now Gaara, the only UR I actually do have access to, Gaara is just about what you expect from a UR defensive unit. Like only thing is that he's not as crazy versatile as far as how much damage he can do like Hokage and Naruto to attack type units, but all around he still can dish out some pretty solid damage if he has type advantage, and he can tank like crazy. Like he acts as a support unit in a way with his passives, that everything he does just buffs like damage reduction and stuff like that. And also the fact that like I have it with cases where Gaara is tank like 3 or 4 special ninjutsus probably like back to back. Like Gaara is just a crazy tank if you decide to invest into him and level him up. He definitely is probably, I think he's a little bit more tankier on the side of like versus the Hokage Naruto, just because overall how his kit works. But I think Hokage Naruto is just a little bit more versatile, especially since he shares a trial special with also one of the most easy accessible units in the game, which is Boruto, because you can get Boruto through the beginner missions, stuff like that. So, and he has a good amount of linking bonuses with a lot of characters, Hokage Naruto. So I think Hokage Naruto is a little bit more versatile than Gaara. Gaara is really a lot more better with Temari and Kankuro, but all around he's no joke. Gaara is definitely worthy of being in Kage tier. The things that he can do as a defensive unit, like as far as his tanking, is just crazy. He's the ultimate tank. Now here we have Sasuke. Now this Sasuke is good all around. I'm not gonna lie. This is probably the only UR I don't have too much experience with, so I'm not not just so this is honestly debatable in my opinion. So if you want to put him somewhere lower or higher, I won't even argue with that because I don't have the biggest experience with him compared to a lot of the other URs. All around from what I've seen, he's just really pretty much of a hard hitter. I'm not really too familiar with his kit too crazy, so you guys can feel how you feel about that, but from what I have seen, I do think he's still worthy of Kage tier. Even though I know that may seem like some bullshit coming from somebody who said he barely has any experience from the with going up against a unit, but from what I've seen, he just hits really hard in my opinion. I hope that don't seem like I'm bullshitting y'all on an excuse, but like I said, the game is really early and I don't have access to all of these units. But and over time, like I'm gonna be like going crazy with these tier lists and going out in more depth into some of this stuff. So is that so I have Mitsuki here. Now I know me having Mitsuki here is probably gonna raise some eyebrows. Now I definitely think that Mitsuki is probably the best rare in the game. Now don't get your panties in a bunch, bro, because I know a lot of people say 1010 is probably the best rare. I think all the rares are like good in my personal opinion in the game, depending on how you use them and what setups you put on, like what team setups you put them on, and also how much investment you put into them. Now the reason why I hold Mitsuki in such a high regard is the fact that Mitsuki has a permanent defensive debuff that he gives to the enemy. On top of that, having an AoE move that is able to reduce health recovery, which is also pretty solid. And it gives heavily wound to your enemies when he activated. I think it's a 50% chance for that activating. And then on top of that, he has a normal attack that has a 30% chance to paralyze. So debuffing, chance to paralyze, AoE move that also has the ability to reduce health restoration. So all around, really, really solid. The fact that he provides so much for a team. Like Ninja Arena, you do not go into, I don't think I've ever seen one match since the game has started where I have not ran into a Mitsuki. Probably one or two, but I've probably already played like 100 something ninja arena matches, and most of the time, 90% of the time, Mitsuki is going to be on their goddamn team because it just provides so much to the team as far as utility. So let's get into S tier or S plus tier, top tier units. So these are the units that I feel that are really, really good, but honestly they're just not like borderline broken. But some of these units are debatable, can be put in Kage tier or whatever you name your highest tier if you want to. Now here we have the base Naruto that everybody gets from logging in, Rasengan Naruto. I'm not really sure exactly what you want to call him, time skip Naruto, but you guys know what I'm talking about. All around, he's just about what you expect from attack on his level, especially since he's free to play. Like everybody's gonna get this guy 5 stars from just logging in. His stats, well, I have noticed they are slightly lower than other SRs. I kind of figured that just because he's completely free, getting him the 5 star, but still all around he's a crazy unit. He's able to dish out some really crazy damage if he's like in a situation where like an enemy is dead and his health is low or below 50. He just is able to almost one shot anybody with his Windstar, Rasa, and Shuriken. So it's all around really hard hitter and really able to pull off some really clutch things and when like clutch moments when your back is against the wall. So I can see like he's definitely S tier in my personal opinion. Now Boruto, him and this Naruto are kind of yin yang. The Naruto does 50% does a lot more damage when his health is below 50%, and Boruto does a lot more damage when his health is above 50%. Now, the Boruto, you kind of just wanted to start off a rotation with Boruto, and then if he just gets like off of his special ninjutsu or any attack, he's just doing a lot of damage. He's a heavy hitter. He also has like a semi-support passive where he can give attack to who everybody's on the same rotation as him. He synergizes really well with Mitsuki and Sadara as well, but all around, I think he's just right where I would expect him to be, S plus. Really good attacker unit, can act as somewhat as a support unit with his passive, and all around just able to dish out some pretty crazy damage. Now 1010, now this is the unit that everybody's been telling me like, yo bro, you tripping. 1010 is definitely probably like the best rare in the game. Now I definitely think that 1010, you can make the discussion that she is, like you can debate that Mitsuki is not as good as 1010 or they're just around the same level. Personally, I think Mitsuki is a little better, but what 1010 provides is crazy. She has a guard suppression rate that's activated for the rest of the battle, so that means it's a permanent buff. So really good if you run her with defensive unit. She has an AoE move that I think that's what everybody finds so glorious about her. Her AoE move has a 50% chance to stun. Now, I think if that is the thing that everybody's starting to think that why she's such a crazy unit, like it's good. The fact that she has an AoE move that stuns is good, but 50% chance, I'll take my chances with Mitsuki and his 30% chance to paralyze over 1010's 50% chance to stun, even if it is an AoE type move. So all around there's that as far as how I feel about 1010. Also, she acts as a support unit as well. By every time she uses her normal attack, she gets a normal attack off. She buffs all the allies attack by 10%. It can vary depending on your skill level, and that activates for 2 turns. So amazing support type unit all around 1010, and she also has a good amount of utility where she can just be a jammer type unit with her ability to stun and throw off rotation. So definitely you can make the debate that 1010 is Kage tier if you want to, or you can make the debate that she's a better rare than Mitsuki. But all around, I think that she's really solid in my personal opinion, and I think S plus is a good place for her. Now Hinata, the crit goddess. I call this girl the crit goddess for a reason. Her whole passive is just about just doing a lot of damage and crits. Like the way her passive is set up, to be honest, like most of the time she's always gonna at least have probably like 50% a chance to her increase to her crit rate. So she's almost like guaranteed to where she's almost get a crit in any scenario almost 50% of the time. So like I don't even need to go in depth to her kit. Like that's pretty much all really her kit is, just pure crit increase to crit rates. Like it's just crazy. And if she gets her special ninjutsu off when there's 6 or fewer enemies alive, I think, or something like that, she's able to just dish out some really crazy damage for special ninjutsu. She could do like almost like tribe special type damage, like 100k type stuff with her special ninjutsu under the right scenario. So crit goddess Hinata, definitely probably the hardest hitting SR in the game, or one of the hardest hitting SRs in the game. In my personal opinion, she's one of the hardest hitting units in the game in general. Like she's just crazy all around. Now Lee, I have a good amount of experience with Lee because I was using him a lot more when the game first started. Now Lee is just more of he's one of those units that take a while to get geared up. Like he's one of those units, I think you gotta have like at least 3 dead allies or 2 dead allies, something like that, and he will get like a certain amount of attack and defense increase at each turn or something like that. It's somewhere around that form of how his passive works. But once you start getting that, Lee starts to dish out some really crazy damage. I've seen Lee do a lot of damage, and all around he's a pretty good unit. Just about you expect from him. Like he's just a really powerful attacker, but he unlike Hinata, who's right next to him, he takes a little bit more longer to get warmed up, but when he does, he's able to dish out some really crazy damage. Now Haku is all around really solid. Now a lot of people don't have her as high up, but I think the fact that she gives a permanent debuff to tactical type shinobi is why I kind of have her high up here, because happens she already has type advantage over tactical type shinobis because she's an attacker. So in a case where she's just going up against them, like her permanent debuffs to tactical type units will just have it to where she's just putting the claps on pretty much like almost one shot tactical type units in any almost scenario. The reason why I understand why some people probably don't have it as high as like high up compared to some of the units, because her tribe special, she doesn't have too many crazy linking bonuses, and her tribe special is only with Zabuza, and Zabuza is like one of the more harder units to obtain because he's in an exchange shop exclusive unit. I don't know why I was stuttering there. So it's a lot tougher to see like Haku what she would be if she had no access to more like her most powerful move on her arsenal, which is probably her tribe special. But all around, I think her permanent debuff to target type units is probably her biggest like asset to me. And all around, she still is one of the hardest hitter attackers in the game. I can't remember, I know her kit is like just pure attack power, and she's able to hit really hard from what I remember off the top of my head. All around, she's a really good unit as far as just being an attacker. A lot of people are sleeping on Haku. Like I'm gonna definitely level up Haku when I get it to 5-star or 4-star, and definitely do a showcase on her just to show people that what they're missing out on. But I think, like I said, her best linking partner knows Zabuza being the type of hard unit he is to attain right now currently in the game, is why a lot of people don't put her in high regards. Now Neji is all around just a solid, I think he's mid tier when it comes to a lot of the SR attackers, but if you run him on a rotation with Hinata, because he does have a passive that increases criticals, I think that's probably a really crazy rotation by the way, because the fact that Hinata busts her critical so much, and then he like you have Neji who can be on the same rotation as her, and he also has a passive, or his 4 passive that busts critical, just makes it to where he can do some really crazy things. All around, he's a good attacker, but he's not like doing anything crazy that we haven't seen honestly from other attackers, but he honestly is really good. So is that. Now Kabuto I don't really see too much of Kabuto, but from what I read from his kit, personally, I think that he's really good in certain scenarios. I know that his special ninjutsu does a lot of a more of attack damage, vary off of if they have a status effect or applied to them. So like if he's going up against a unit that has like it's being paralyzed, something like that, especially ninjutsu will do a lot of extra damage. He also acts as a somewhat of a healer as well. If I'm correct, he heals off of 50% of his own attack based off of who's offered the same rotation as him. So who's on the same rotation as him will get increase to the health based off 50% of his attack. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yeah. You see how tough it is trying to memorize all this stuff on the top of my head. Like I've taken so much time into playing this game that I'm remembering this stuff on top of my head. But no, it takes a little while for it to come back. It comes back in bits and pieces. So there's that. So all around, really solid. He does share a trial special with Sasuke and also with Orochimaru. But Orochimaru is another one of those kind of tough units to get right now. Currently, where the game is at, only available through exchange shop and those type things. So there's that. So all around is that. So here we have Tamari. Tamari is just she's a good attacker. I think her and Kankuro, I guess I could kind of talk about them together. I think they're honestly just about on the same level. They're good separately, kind of, but when you run them with guards, it's just like a whole nother situation. Like honestly, right now I'm trying to work on to invest in them next as my first next like parry trio units I want to work on, like team units, the team setups I'm gonna work on, and they are just a crazy pairing together. Honestly, it's hard to not to talk about Tamari and Kankuro without guard, just because like they're so good together. It's just hard not to talk about, like it's hard to talk about them separately when they just work so good with guard. So all around, I think they're probably the most balanced team setup of like those three together, because we have guard, the defensive tank, then you have Tamari, who's the tactical unit, and then you have Kankuro, who's the hard hitter, and he's the attacker type unit. So all around, separately they're good, but when they come together, they come to just make a great pairing. But separately as units, I do think they're just about S tier. What they provide as a team together, and what they give to a team separately, is all around pretty solid. Now, I was about to say Rock Lee, but that's my guy. My guy. My guy. So all around, my guy is pretty solid. Now I'm not gonna lie, I've used him, but he has one of those counter rate type passives like Choji, and I don't really understand officially kind of how like counter works. Now I maybe just be stupid here, but I'm guessing it works just like how dodging works in other games, but not fully sure how I feel about that. If you have Kakashi, this guy is pretty much a monster. He's good without Kakashi, but it is a crazy pairing when you have them together with their tri special. I'm not gonna lie. All around, my guy's just about what I think I'll put him overall as a unit. He's a solid defensive unit as far as what he provides as being a defensive unit overall, but I don't think he's doing anything too crazy as a defensive unit. I think most of his like utility is that he's best, personally, from my opinion, from when I've seen him, is when you're using him with Kakashi, in my personal opinion. Now here we have Sadara. Sadara is really, really solid all around. Like she has a debuff that she gives to the enemy's team when she activates her normal attack, which is just a permanent debuff. So one attack and she's just putting the permanent debuff on the rest of the enemy's team. So all around really solid. AoE move that has burn on it, so she's able to actually have a lot of longevity, how she's able to slow units down and stuff like that. So all around, I think Sadara is really good. I think I'm not gonna say she's middle of the pack, but if you definitely have Mitsuki and Boruto, she's crazy. Or if you have like any of the Sasuke's, she's also really crazy. I think that's what makes Sadara so good, is that she has a good amount of tri specials and a good amount of team setups, so you can run her on as a unit. I think that's one of the things that holds like her units like her and Boruto like really, really high up, because they can be used on a lot of team setups, and they're very, very valuable on those team setups that they are on. So that's enough with S plus. Let's go into A tier. So A tier, we have Shino. Now Shino, I like Shino, but in some cases it's just like I feel like I do have to go a little bit more out of my way to optimize Shino. But when you do optimize him on the right scenarios or on the right team setup, Shino could be really crazy good, especially with his ability to steal chakra. That ability can come clutch in so many situations. You guys just don't know. Shino is a monster when it comes to that ability to steal people's chakra. That could just stop people from completely, it could shut whole teams down. Like if that was an AoE move, I'll probably put Shino in like an S tier, but it is a single target move. His ability to steal chakra, both on his special ninjutsu and his normal attack. So all around, I still think that Shino is pretty solid. I still think on the right setup, he's really, really good. That's why I have him at A, just with the good units. Now here we have adult, I was about to say Sasuke. Here we have adult Sakura. I think she's all around a good unit. I don't think she's good. Like her AoE attack also has one of those stun type of effects. She's also able to, is she the one that can buff defense when she heals? No, that's the young Sakura. all around for what I've seen for her, she just like kind of she's good. Like she's a healer, what she provides as a tactical type unit. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have the biggest experience with her aside of just what she could do as far as what know her stunning ability or her AOE to move. I know that I've seen some people actually run her with Sadara because I know they share a Lincoln bonus, and she does fit on a few good team setups as well with the Sasuke and Hokage and Naruto, also with Sadara and Sasuke. So you can make some pretty versatile teams. Or it's debatable if you guys want to put her at S plus. I'm not gonna lie, you guys can debate on that. I like I use a lot in the Chicken Show setup a lot when the game first started. I still use them every once in a while depending on like the scenario and what team I may have to like run or like what type of content I'm going up against. Is good. Like the best thing about her is probably just her confuse ability with her, especially in Jutsu. Now confuse is probably the weakest out of all the status effects that you can apply to an enemy, in my personal opinion. Still think that paralyze is probably the best. Paralyze and probably stun. But honestly, like confuse is what it does. It just throws you on like it throws the unit who's get confused on off the rotation just kind of randomly, and it can kind of be mix and match how effective it can be. It's real RNG type stuff, so not really the biggest fan of confuse. That's why I kind of stopped using her. But all around on the Chicken Show setup, she's just like she fits on there just kind of about perfectly. I think that's probably her best setup, but you could definitely fit her on a few other teams and slide her on a few other teams, and she can be useful with that confuse ability. But sometimes it's hit and miss for me, in my personal opinion, in the harder types of content, in my personal opinion. So there's that. It definitely can be usable. Now, Konohamaru, I'll debate and put a Konohamaru at S plus. You can debate. You could probably put him at S plus, but for now, I'm probably going to put him at A. Like Konohamaru, I think want to say is probably one of the best rares in the game as far as just being a good tank. Like the fact that he has such a massive increase on his defensive stats just for a rare unit. He gets like what if you max out his skills, gets like what 55% to his defense. So it's really all around solid. He could take very well there, and all around he can dish out some pretty solid damage. So he's just about he's a defensive support unit, in my personal opinion. That's where he's really sitting at. And on the teams that you can't fit him on, he will be able to provide a little extra tankiness, because I know especially in Jutsu provides now the damage reduction or damage suppression rate is always one of those two. I always get those two confused, but he provides that, and he also gets defense to himself. So if you run him on a defensive rotation, he will be able to tank fairly well for a rare unit. So all around he's really solid. Choji is really good. I like Choji. His ability to like speed up your ability to take tribe specials. I mean, not take tribe specials, but to get tribe special fastest can be really useful. And I think that in a lot of scenarios that the boy Choji is just going to be able to make it really clutch for some of you guys, and with his ability to get those tribe special a lot faster, because that can really sway the tide of battle really quickly when people can get their tribe special faster. And that's pretty much Choji's best utility there. Also, he could be like a semi-support unit with his ability to give damage reduction to whoever's on the same rotation as him as well. So all around, Choji's a really good unit. Don't think he's crazy broken anyway. You could debate put him at S tier, but I still keep him at A. I think he's good. I don't think he's bad, but he's just kind of middle to me for me. Like he's definitely good if you like running a full Chicken Show, but outside of that, he doesn't have the same amount of versatility compared to a lot of these other units. But what he provides, I think, is all around pretty solid as a defensive rare unit. Now Shikamaru, I like Shikamaru. Shikamaru is good. He's really solid. His special ninjutsu reduces damage reduction by I think the 25%. It's either 80 or like 80. No, is it 80 or 25%? It's somewhere. It's one of those two numbers. It's somewhere around that. It can really vary, honestly, depending on how you level up his skill. But there's a chance that he does get his shadow bind that has the ability to do that. But it's not really a highest percentage chance that you can get. It's only like 35%. But all around, like Shikamaru, I think that's the best thing he provides to the team, in that the fact that he acts as like some of a semi-support unit, also giving a permanent a permanent buff to tactical type units for the rest of the battle. So all around, it's pretty solid. Shikamaru's kind of in the middle of the pack for me right now. Like at first when I started off using him in the beginning of the game, he was just crazy good, but it was the beginning of the game, and now that I'm into more harder content, Shikamaru is good only in certain scenarios for me, like in my personal opinion. But he could definitely provide a good amount of utility with the ability to reduce damage reduction, especially in jutsu, to other defensive units. So he's going to be good against defensive units. I think that's his best scenario for Shikamaru, in my personal opinion. Kiba, you could debate putting Kiba in S plus. Kiba, I think for rares, I think Kiba has the highest base speed in the game. That's why you see Kiba on a lot of team setups. Because from what I've seen, like his base speed is really really high. Kiba all around, what he provides, he's just one of those like mid range attackers. He does a lot more damage, obviously in most scenarios when he's going up against his tactical type unit. His special ninjutsu is meant to do a lot of extra damage to tactical type units. He already has type advantage over them, so that's Kiba's pretty much best scenario. And he does give a slight attack buff when he's the first person attacking as well. So all around, Kiba's just around middle of the pack as far as overall attacking power. But his utility, as far as him just having a really base high speed and stuff like that, I've seen him to where he's been able to fit on a lot of team setups in Ninja Arena, in my personal opinion. Now this Sakura, she's all around a pretty solid unit. She's so fucking annoying in Tower of Eternity. Excuse my language, bro. In Tower of Eternity, the fact that she heals and just gives a massive 60%, somewhere around that 60-50% defensive buff to units, she can make like units that are tanky already even 10 times more tankier. She is really really good all around. I don't think she's crazy broken to where she's just like S plus, but she's really really good. You could debate her being an S plus as far as how she's able to provide so much utility being a healer on any other team, on any team setup that you put her on. But personally, I think she's just good. What she provided really is amazing though, by the way. But she's just good in my personal opinion. That's just how I feel, man. So B, we're on to the last unit. So B, we have the boy Yamato. I don't know why I was about to say Shikamaru. Yeah, Yamato. Now Yamato, I'm not gonna lie, he's the only unit where I have not been able to test him or gone up against him at all since the game has started. That's why he may be B for me. He may be B or A or S for somebody else. But from what I've seen from his kit, he's just a pure defensive unit that is able to provide a lot of damage reduction with like his skills and his special ninjutsu. Take that however you feel about that. I may test Yamato again, like not again, but test Yamato down the line, and my opinions may change. Keep in mind the game is so young. My opinions are probably going to be so different in about next month when I make my next tier list. So that's just how you it's just how I feel, man. This is how I feel about Yamato right now. I haven't got a chance to test him too much, so I just got to put him in B. But from what I've seen from his kit, it just doesn't seem that impressive. But like I said, that can change. So yeah, that's pretty much it is to it. Now, the MIA units, those are the units that these are exchange shop exclusive units, so I don't have access to these units yet. And most of the people who do have access to them, it's either they cashing out in the exchange shop and saving up for all their points so they can go ahead and get one of these units. But most people don't have access to these units, so it's hard to rank the MIA units in any particular type of ranking, in my personal opinion, for most people, or just a lot of people in general, just because a lot of people don't have access to them at all. I haven't seen any videos on them. Like I haven't seen a lot of their kits. So all around, that's all I can really say as far as the MIA unit. So tell me what you guys think of my tier list. You guys know how I get with these tier lists, man. More down the line, once like Ninja Tribes gets a lot more older and I get more chance to get my hands on more of these units, and I get a chance to test out more of these units or more team builds, because I've been playing the game like crazy. I've been putting a lot of time and effort into the game. So eventually my tier lists are going to get more in depth and going more in depth to some of these units. But for now, I'm just going off of just how I feel from when I've gone up against these units and how much I use these units on the team setups I'm running now. So my opinions can easily change on this stuff. So keep that with a grain of salt. The game is so young. I'm pretty sure this tier list is going to be looking crazy different next month. So it's your boy Kage. Go last guy for more content. Boy Kage, go last guy for more content. Tell me what you guys think about my tier list. You're down. If you don't like it, it's whatever. Like I said, I already said how I feel about the game state right now and how it may change. And yeah, I already said my outro so many times. I always do this. Back to recording some more videos because I guess that's just what I do. And yeah, Ninja Tribes tier list, first tier list ever. Long journey. This is not the end.